The San Diego Prep Insiders Basketball Podcast is powered by Jersey Mike's. Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Hey, sports fans! Christian Pedersen, Aaron Bergen, and I hope you have as big of a smile on your face as we do because it is basketball finals. Yes. Division III.
This is going to be fun.
Mount Miguel, the 1 seed, the top 10 team this season, coming into this one 29-4. On the flip side, Carlsbad coming into this one at 15-15, but both of these teams got in the speedboat and hit the accelerator in the semifinals and blew some people out of the water.
Yeah, not very competitive games.
No, honestly, if you just in a vacuum looked at just the semifinal games, you'd be like, oh, this is the 1 seed versus the 2 seed, and both of these teams are dominant. Yet both of these teams have taken very different routes to get to the finals. Both of these teams are built differently. Both of these teams just provide the juiciest possible mix of a finals that you can get. Aaron, you and I are taking different sides in this argument.
Yes, we are.
So the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with the 1 seed Mount Miguel, despite their only loss against a Division III team coming from Carlsbad.
That's what I'm saying.
And I that obviously figures into both of our analysis of this game. The one thing I will say is that loss was very early on, and it was before Mount Miguel really hit their stride. They got some football guys back after that game.
I'm gonna counterpoint that because they were 6-0 straight out the gate. Mm-hmm. They hit their stride very early on. But keep going.
They did, but I will also say they had some football guys that rejoined the team later in that run that have added some needed depth, and they've been incredible in terms of just consistently just blowing teams out. I think their closest game in that stretch was an 8-point win over Escondido right before the start of the playoffs. I like their matchups, at the point guard position. I like their backcourt matchups. I think they match up favorably against this Carlsbad team. And I think the X factor is going to be C.J. Jackson in the middle. If he can come in, spell Marquise Edwards, and really pound a very big Carlsbad team, if he can, provide them with the rebounding interior presence, then I think that Mount Miguel will win this one, in a very competitive game. But I'm still thinking that the score is going to be reversed from last time they played.
Okay.
I think Mount Miguel gets this one around 70-65.
Okay. At this point, I am never going to ever say, oh, what a specific pick after last week's SFC overtime. Freaking waiting for you to rename your Twitter handle the Oracle at Delphi. Look, at this point, I'm just going to sound like a hater because I've picked now against Mount Miguel twice. But I do want this to come with the understanding of two things. One, I texted him 2 weeks into the season asking if I was crazy to put Mount Miguel in the top 10.
He did.
So I've not come late to this party. And two is that sometimes you do just need to play devil's advocate for the sake of argument. And I look at this as basketball is not the same as a football or a baseball or something like that where it's hard to beat somebody twice. Basketball is something where I do take a lot of stock in what you see is what you get. We talked about in the D5 finals, Southwest has already beat San Diego Academy, so that doesn't give you any motivation to say San Diego Academy has now fixed their issues and is ready to beat Southwest. I see this as Carlsbad already has the roadmap in hand to beat Mount Miguel. It's definitely not going to be nearly the same game, like you mentioned. Everything has changed in terms of team construction, team vibe, just the dynamics of a finals alone changes it because it's not in a home gym for either team. Sure. So this does take a little bit away from Carlsbad potentially because the loud crowd will not probably be there in full force.
Oh, they're going to travel.
I mean, they're going to travel well, but $15 a pop to get a student into a game takes a couple of people out of the running for both sides of that. The gym is physically larger, so it's not the same. It's just a different vibe. 24-9 on one side, 15-15 on one side, one defeat versus the other. Like, all this to me just comes down to the fact that I just cannot get over that hump that Carlsbad has already won this game. I look at Carter Pluchet, I look at Isaiah Ramos, I look at Brogan Petrosini, I look at Troy Bloomquist, and I just say that Nothing has gone downhill in any of their shooting percentages, any of their reboundings, and then they blow Brawley out of the water, which is a Brawley team that we talked about is tested, is veteran, has that leadership, has that ability to get back to a finals, and they didn't even come close. So I say that Carlsbad maintains it. I think that this game will mirror the D4 game in terms of just most exciting all-out offensive attempts. Like, I think we'll have a very high scoring, high 70s, low 80s type of night for both of these teams. We're already getting feedback. There's already people calling to tell us how crazy we are. Yep. And on that note, we'll go answer our hate mail, and you can hit us up on Twitter at Mr. CPED, at FullTimesHoops1. We will be there at this game with full analysis, highlights, breakdown, post-game podcasts, and we'll see which one of us is right, which one of us is wrong. See you later, sports fans.